Morning, coaches. This is Coach Randy with Radius Athletics. Let's talk some basketball. We're going to continue with our motion offense discussion. Um, what I want to go to now is a couple outside cuts, and we'll start with the out cut. We'll diagram using FastDraw from FastModel. Got the screen a little bit bigger and the diagram's a little bit bigger. That should be easier to see for viewers now. Let's add a new play here. Got my team name, motion breakdowns. We're going to call this Downscreen fundamentals, and we'll call it outcut. All right, so we got a nice big chord for us to see. For those of you watching all these videos, I apologize for the repeated content, but for those of you who are just dropping in, maybe viewing this one, I want to make sure that you get all the terminology and all the background information you can on motion offense, and let's start with alignment. So we'll add a player in the slot or the high elbow, and a player on the wing. Okay, so a little bit about those two terms. If you take the lane line here, draw it out. The area just above that lane line outside the three-point arc is called the high elbow or the slot. You'll hear coaches use those terms sort of interchangeably. We'll use high elbow for this discussion. I want NBA three-point line spacing. I don't like it when players crowd the arc. I want them, spaced higher and wider, and you'll constantly see me kind of pulling these players higher and wider, just as I would instruct a team in practice: get higher, get wider. So a little bit about this wing and where I want them set up. Free throw line extended is a good descriptor, but I like them to sit up. Let me turn the arrowhead off. I like them to sit up at a line I call the motion line. It's about a foot below the free throw line. Now I tell players to sit up at or above the motion line. So that looks pretty good right there. The reason for this is I like the player to have room if they're overplayed, to be able to make a back cut to the basket. If you get the player way down here in the dead corner, the back cut ends up kind of being something that is not really doable, because you end up kind of behind the backboard. You need room below you to set your man up to cut. If you're starting down here, you don't have very much room below you to set up a cut. And if they overplay the cut, the back cut is not an option. So what I want is at or above the motion line. Okay, we got him there, so let's take off this line. All right, let's add another player. So we've got a passer. Sometimes in drill settings, I'll use a coach or a manager here where I have player 4. But for this diagram, we'll use a player. Again, the 4 out spots are the 2 high elbows and the 2 wings at the motion line. So I want them kind of just outside of that high elbow, pretty evenly spaced here. All right, higher and wider. All right, so let's say the pass is made from slot to slot or high elbow to high elbow. In the 4-out motion that I've educated coaches a lot on, the players on top in your initial configuration are your screeners, your 1 and your 4. Your cutters are your wings. They're your players that can make all 4 cuts, both the inside and outside cuts, the back cut, the curl cut, the out cut, and the straight cut. They can make all those cuts. They can read the defense. They can score. They're the players that you want taking most of the shots in your offense. All right, so let's talk screener first. We make this slot-to-slot pass. After the pass, We want to make a basket cut. As it's drawn here, I want the first step one would make to be with his left foot, his or her left foot. What we're trying to do is cross the face of the defender for the give and go. If X1 stays here in their stance, the pass is made, and they don't jump to the ball, they stay here and we're able to cross their face, we'll take the cut all the way to the basket for the give and go and the layup. But assuming they make the correct defensive fundamental play and jump to the ball, get themselves ball side when the pass is made, jump into a deny stance or sink below the pack line but get between their man and the ball, whichever defensive philosophy you're facing. Here we'll show them jumping into this stance. One pass away, deny stance. So, that tells the screener here to break off that basket cut. It's being defended. Let's break it off and get into a down screen. So I want the down screen set just off the elbow. One of the defining characteristics of screens, how we categorize them, how we determine what they are, is the angle, right? And where is this screener's back facing? So as I have it drawn, the screener's back is facing back toward the center of the top of the key, toward the basketball. This player here, after receiving the catch, would perhaps take a little bit of a dribble this direction to kind of center the ball to where it's centered and can see this action. All right, so now we've got because we made that hard basket cut, starting with our left foot, trying to cross the face of the defender, they jump to the ball. Now I've got a free and kind of clear path to set the down screen. So in essence, that basket cut moves the defender out of the screener's way, so they can go set a good down screen. Okay, so the down screen, I want them to basket cut, break off the cut when the defender moves ball side, jump stop into the screen. The down screen sits somewhere here right off the high elbow, right off the elbow. Jump stop into the screen. We want to give this cutter some verbal and nonverbal cues. So we'd be calling their name. Joey, 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 down screen, down screen. Jump stop into the screen. Your feet slamming onto the court create an auditory cue. I'm throwing a fist to show them I'm a screener coming to get them, to create a visual cue. When this high elbow to high elbow pass is made, this cutter would begin walking the arc. It's an important element to the screening game, is walking the arc. Taking your man down here. When the pass is made, the defender probably moved to the ball, perhaps as far as the lane line, but most likely somewhere in this area. So I want to walk the arc, get into my man, feel him or her, feel them, get in contact. So I'm setting them up for this screen. So then I begin my cut. At first, I want the cutter moving straight at the screen, like so. Straight at it. We want to get a read on this player, make them make a decision. Right? So we're going over the out cut. The read for the out cut is if the defender goes ball side of the down screen. So the cutter walks the arc. They begin the cut. They change speeds. Walk the arc, sprint the cut. While they're sprinting this cut, they're watching X2. They are not watching the basketball. The basketball does not tell them what to do. The basketball is in place to be delivered to the cutter, but the cutter is watching their man. Right, in this instance, the defender does not trail, does not overplay. They don't trail, creating a curl cut. They don't overplay, creating the back cut. They just kind of miss the screen on the ball side. Right? When they do that, what we want to happen then is an out cut. Some coaches call it a fade cut or a pop cut. You'll hear all kinds of different nomenclature for this cut, but we're going to the terminology I use is the out cut. Two things have to happen. The defender then, they're coming at the screen, they're facing it. They see the defender dip ball side of the screen. When they do, they just push out beyond the three-point arc. So their path is this: walk the arc, come to the cut, and then push out beyond the three-point arc. Now the defender is ball side. Their man, instead of what I see happen so many times is ineffective, is the cutter will walk the arc. They come here. The defender dips ball side, and the cutter just keeps coming through here on a straight cut. X2 slides through here, and they just kind of meet at the ball, or perhaps this player even denies the pass. But what happens more often is the player dips ball side, the cutter goes here, and the cutter doesn't read it and make this out cut. They just continue on their path on this side of the screen, and two may make the catch, but he's immediately defended. So what we've got to do is see this out cut, this walk the arc, come to the down screen, and then push out here. The next element is this: the screener recognizes the player going ball side, and so now one is down in here because they went to screen. 4 has the ball. Let's give them the ball right there. All right, so now what we've got is the cutter's defender has moved ball side of the screen. So the second most important element here is changing the angle of the screen. So what was once a down screen with my back toward the basketball becomes a pin screen. What I'm doing essentially, since the defender went ball side of the screen, all right, I want to change the angle. Just going to adjust my angle by pivoting on that inside foot, and now I'm pinning X2 into the lane. The cutter has walked the arc, they've come to the screen, they've popped out, and I really want them to position themselves right here kind of behind the shoulders of the screener. So 4 now has a wide open player to deliver a pass to. Okay, now X1 perhaps sees this. They're defending the cutter, they're defending the screener, and they see this, and perhaps they show a little bit to deny that pass. All right, then that would free up a screen and slip by 1. So as in the other videos where I've showed you the inside cuts, this is an outside cut, and the same complementary cutting action is featured. The cutter makes an out cut, an outside cut. The screener makes an inside cut. They're always going to complement one another. So on the walk of the arc, I come to the screen, defender dips ball side, I out cut. The screener must change the angle of that screen by sort of pivoting on their inside foot and pinning X2 into the lane. If X1 shows to try to deny that, got an open slip to the basket. Complementary cuts, outside cut, inside cut. All right, so the main thing that we're looking for here is recognition from 2, that their man went ball side of the down screen. Right? So many times players just read straight cut and they meet at the basketball and they don't recognize to bend this off. Get right behind the shoulder blades when that screener changes the angle. Settle in behind them, and 4 can deliver a pass or an open shot. Or if X2 comes off the screen over the top, we've got a fake and a drive. If X2 comes under, we can drive over the top. Right? But what we're really wanting to develop is the ability to walk the arc, come to the screen, pop out, catch and shoot. All right, those are the fundamentals of the out cut. Thanks for watching.